Alright, this is the continuation of assignment number 2, creating your own logo, personalized logo, or the business logo. So this is how you will get started. First you will open up the file, find the letter under print. Look for the words that say letter, 8.5 by 11. I'm going to turn mine sideways. So we're going to turn it sideways. First we do the DPI at 150 and orientation, turn it to landscape, and then click create. And wait for it to pop up. There we go. Alright, and then you're going to take your image your sketch, drag it in to your canvas, enlarge it so that you can see it. Cool. Alright, this layer, I'm going to lower the opacity to about 50%. And then I'm going to lock the layer. So the buttons you can use in this one, first I'm going to start with using a rectangle to give me the outer shape of the boombox. And it's automatically going to create the square, but you can't edit any of these corners. The reason why is you have to convert it to curves. The one thing I am going to do is turn off the stroke, which click on the stroke in the top menu area and turn that off. And right click on the square. Let me pick a different color. First let me select it and then pick a different color. Alright, I'm going to make mine slightly grayish. Brown. There we go. Alright, you're going to right click on the shape, and where it says convert to curves, when you're converting it to curves, it allows you to adjust the corners with the node tool or the white triangle selection tool. And as you see, you have these points that actually pop up. And I'm going to click on each one and manipulate those and get the shape of my boombox. I'm going to do one interesting thing to it. Alright, cool. Pull that one down. So now that I have that shape going, so this is all going to be about how you layer your panels too. So to create the side over here, I can easily create another shape and then manipulate it, but I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool. The pen tool is actually highly important in here. So what you do with the pen tool is if you click once and then click another point, you start creating the shape that you want. And to complete the shape, you just go back to the original point that you started with, and a little 0 will pop up. If you see where the plus symbol is, a 0 pops up, and you close the shape, and then you can fill it either with a stroke or you can do the fill and you pick a color. The other way, if you want it to be more curved, you actually start the point by clicking once, and then you click to another point, but you do not release your left mouse click, and you drag. So it's click and drag. And then you can keep going because it's going to continue creating that curve. And if you want to control that curve a little bit more and have it go into a different direction and still create a corner, if you click on it, you see how the plus turns into a minus. The plus will turn into a minus, and then it will turn off the other handle. And as you see, the handle disappears, and I can create and click in a completely different direction. And same with this one. To close the tool, to close the shape, you would actually go back to the original and click on it, and you have your own new unique custom made shape. And to manipulate those, you would do the same thing. And if you move these little circular handles that pop up on some of these shapes, you can actually manipulate the shape itself. If you want to do just one side of it, if you hold the Alt button down and then click on one side of the handle, the little circular handle, you only move one side of it. And also that does break the it breaks the handle, whereas if they were connected together, as you see here, They're connected together. If you hold Alt, it's going to break those. And as you see, it breaks it now. Now they're both separate, independent handles. Also, if you have one that doesn't have any handles, you can actually mouse over to the straight line one. So the one over here where it's straight, and if I just click on the line, I can pull up and I can create some handles. If you want to get rid of handles, I believe it's the Alt. It is the Alt. You hold the Alt and you click on one of the handles, and it actually deletes it and returns it back to either a straight, or you leave one side up and you can adjust the one side, the one curve. Either way you want to do it. So that's how you use the pen tool, and I'm going to use the pen tool on this one just so you can see a demonstration of it. Actually, all mine are going to be straight. So you have the snapping tool up here, which it's actually snapping to where I want it. I'm going to ignore where it snaps to. Hopefully I can get it to more. And create my shape. And I'm going to go there. Because I snapped it off, I'm not worried about how off it is because I can actually move it back because of the snapping function. It is snapped to exactly where I wanted it. And it was not straight at all. And it won't give me the guides to keep it straight. That's fine. So now we make it the same color. So here I'm going to use that color in the eyedropper. So if I click on this and drag it over while still holding the mouse, and then you can select the color you want, and then you fill your either stroke or fill with the color, and there you go. And I'm gonna lighten it up just a little bit. Actually, no, I'm gonna give it a hint of blue. Hint of blue, and I'm going to adjust the other color. Make this one a little bit darker. I might end up reversing it, but oh well. These points aren't high enough, or no, this point isn't enough. Cool. So the other thing I'm going to do is make a custom top for this. So click here, over here, down to here, and then down. And what I'm going to do is allow these to stay inside. If you can see closely, there's slightly a gap right in here. Let me turn off the background. You see there's a white gap in there. To get rid of that gap, you have to take your points, line them up at the corners, let them snap to the corners. Sometimes it disappears, sometimes it doesn't. Usually I've dealt with where it hasn't. So if you click on your line, you just click once, it adds a point. And I'm going to move these points in and move this in so I have an angle. And I'm going to take in the layers panel, I'm going to put this underneath. I'm going to call this front. And then this is the side. Cool. All I did was double click on the layer, and you can actually name them. And I'm going to drag this one underneath the layer, and now it's behind the boombox, so I don't have to actually worry about it. And let me go back to the top. I'm going to select the color for it. That's not the color, so that's the color. Cool. It's going to be a little bit lighter. Alright, something weird. Alright, it's there. Cool. And I'm going to move this one behind the front also. And there you go. I'm going to have to lean this back some. Make sure my perspective is okay. Cool. Then we do the last side. Line that up. Hold shift to give yourself a straight line, and I'm drawing past it and inside it. Cool. And then we're going to fill that with color. and I want that color, and refill. And I'm going to move this one behind all of them, even the side curve. And there we have it. Hopefully this is lined up. Nope, something is off. That one's off. Alright, point is off. Cool. There we go. So now we have the makings of a boombox. And also I'm going to show you how to add just a little bit of detail to that. First I'm going to do one of the speakers. So I'm going to put one here. And I'm not going to convert this one to a curve because I'm not actually going to adjust the points. I'm going to leave it exactly where it is. Control C, Control V. Control C and Control V, I just copied and pasted it. So I have one that's behind, and the one that's behind I'm going to make a little bit bigger. And line it up back to the center. So one behind. And I'm going to make it, actually no, I'm going to keep it lighter. Keep the one in front darker. And I might throw on the stroke. I'm going to turn it on anyway. And to adjust the size of the stroke, underneath the stroke panel, you have your width slider, and you can make it however big you want it. I'm going to put it at point. It's too large. It's not large. It's fine. Make this one a little bit larger. Both of these. Where's it going? There we go. In. And I could skew this, but no, I won't skew it yet. I'll show you that one in a little bit. Possibly I might do it. Let me see if I can find where it's at. Layer select. And I don't know if I want to skew it or not. And no. I'll probably leave it as is. Yeah, I'll leave it as is for now. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit of detail to this, so I'm going to copy this one. Actually, no, I'm not going to copy that one. I'm going to make a new one. Hold Shift. If you hold Shift, it gives you a perfectly round shape. Cool. And we're going to fill that with a color, turn off the stroke. Keep the color, make it a little bit lighter. Center it. Should be off center just a bit. Yeah. Right about there. Alright, I might apply a gradient to it, I'm not sure. I know for sure I'm going to apply a gradient to this one. So your gradient button is this little fill tool here. Looks like a circle with an arrow in it. This is your gradient. Why did it deselect? Okay, cool. Gradient, as you see, and then you just drag and place it how you want it. To adjust your gradient settings, they are going to be located underneath here where it says linear. I'm going to leave it linear, and I'm going to slide. Actually, no, I can't slide these. So I'm going to add a color here. And I want to slide a color in the center. So I'm going to make that one, make this one a little bit lighter. So if you click on the color circle, you can make it lighter and darker. And that one should be fine. What I'm going to do is slide the median points, the midpoints. I'm going to select them closer to the middle so I get almost like a straight line. And I do have to adjust. This a little bit. Cool. And then we're going to use a clipping mask on this one. I'm going to create a single line which is going to be curved. Well, not really a single line, but a curved line. And I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to complete it. I'm going to put a stroke on it, make it completely white, turn down on the stroke. Cool. And then I'm going to drag and drop this on top. So this one is to clip, this is to add it underneath the layer, this is to clip inside it. And then put it inside that shape so that I have that line. Possibly. Yeah, I'm going to do another shape underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this shape, and then I'm going to complete half of it. So reselecting this one, hopefully it's not going to do something weird. Yep, it did something weird. So first, you got to select the point with the white mouse tool when the handles pop up. Then grab the pin tool, and then turn to a minus. And if you click, now you have that selected. Because usually what happens is you have a whole bunch of curves that aren't connected, and you have to go back and connect all those curves. And I don't want to do that. Alright, I'm going to add a gradient to this shape. Hopefully I'm on my fill layer. Cool. I am going to flip these. So there's a fast way to flip it. If you hit reverse, it flips it automatically, which is way easier. And I'm going to darken this a bit if it will move. Why don't you move it? Select. Double click on the layer to bring up the color wheel, and it's not moving for me. Okay, now it's moving. What is it doing? Light blue. This one over here, I don't want it to be white. I'm going to click and then drag to that and then apply it, and it goes a little too dark. So I got to make it a little bit darker. Cool. And there we go. That looks good. And there you have sort of a start of a speaker. I'm going to fill. I'm going to bring that a little bit closer. As close as I can get it, or as close as it will allow me to get it. Nope. Actually, I did kind of want that. Yeah. That is a happy accident. That's what I was looking for. Let me adjust. Alright, sometimes the snapping gets in the way. I want it to follow the angle of the perspective. I'm going to add a little bit of noise to this, if it'll let me. Alright, cool. Down here in the color panel, you can add some noise to make it look like the speakers. The speaker has some holes. And I'm just selecting on each color slider, adding some noise to them. Alright, actually I'm going to lighten up this one. There we go. Alright, cool. So to make this look a little bit better, a little bit more separation to it, I'm going to add a line. Turn on my snapping, zoom in. Usually I would do a shape, but I'm going to do a line instead. I'm going to make the line gray. Actually, I got to flip that stroke, turn off the fill, and make this a little bit darker. Cool. This line over here, the reason why I separated is I didn't want these two to be connected. Hopefully I didn't connect to the curve. I did. Didn't mean to connect. Alright, here, nope, it's still connected. Disconnect. So if that happens, I'm just going to stop short and then move it all the way up. Cool. And this one should be lighter. And the corners look like they're round on my stroke, and I'm going to make the cap a butt cap. Same with this one, make it a butt cap so that it looks squared or angled. It's not rounded, I don't want it rounded. And I'm going to add one down here. Hopefully I can get it in the right spot. Straight line all the way down. I have it. Cool. Straight line. And we are going to make it whatever this color is. Cool. This, and make it that color. Make sure the cap is the butt cap. Awesome. And I have to move all this up. So what I'm going to do is group, shift select. I wish I could move these layers up because they are getting, there we go, that's a little better. Getting in the way. Shift select all the speaker, and then right click on the speaker or the layer, if I'm correct. Yeah, layer, or the speaker itself, and you can do group, Control G. So that way I can actually move it all as one. Makes it a little bit easier. Right there, this line is not dark enough. That should be fine. With this group, all I have to do is Control C, Control V, and then move it all the way down here, shrink it, resize it a bit, turn off the stupid snapping. Cool. Gonna add a couple more lines here just to separate things out. And And yeah, it's already dark. Select. Control D. Nope, that didn't actually. Thought that would work. So all I'm going to do is copy this and then move it over. Control C. And what the heck is it doing? Okay, cool. I was doing something weird. Control C, Control V. And move that down here. And we adjust the points. Energy selecting. I hate it when it does weird things. And these two should be. And I'll reorganize them in a little bit. I'm trying to figure out what this thing is. Okay. Where'd it go? Okay. Alright. White mouse tool. And then we move that down. Turn on snapping. And at least line it up to the line. And the line will highlight when you're on it, as you see there. It highlights. And I'm holding shift so that it stays completely straight. And there you have the makings of a boombox. I don't like this corner too much. I'm going to bring it in some. Bring that up. In this corner up to here. And gonna get a little bit lighter. Cool. To make all the buttons that usually align here, we have to do some tricky square making so that it looks like it's three-dimensional. Hopefully I didn't select that line again. Up. And I might have to adjust it, so I'm going to make a shape with the pen tool first, just to see how I want it to go. And now it's going to stop here. And this corner is probably going to poke out. Just a little bit. And it goes down. Cool. And I'm just thinking. Okay, that should be fine. Should be fine. Okay. And I'm gonna flip that and grab that color and darken it. Actually, no. Grab this color. Cool. I have to fix this area a little bit. Maybe? No. So I want this on the other side too. There, so that the buttons will look like they are pin set just a little bit. think that might be it. Yeah, not too bad. Now we can start making the buttons. So I'm going to go here. Here, let me redo that. Up. Here. Shift. Yeah. Click shift. And over. And I'm not worried about, because they're going to overlap, so let me darken that one. So what I'm going to try to do is keep the buttons following this line. I'm not going to do all of them in one sitting because it could take a while. So to add an extra bit of detail, I'm going to use a square. What are you doing? Convert it to curves. Sometimes it's faster just to create a square and then convert it to a curve. Make that dark. And I start coming in here and start adding some gradients to it. This might actually pop a little bit and look more like a button. Same with the side of the boombox case. Change the color. And adding a quick line here. Cool. Starts to look like buttons. Still need some more work. Can't really tell. You can see the buttons as well. So that just means it probably need to be a slightly lighter color. No. So that they stand out a little more. Alright. We want that color. Cool. The more I keep messing with it, the more it'll start looking like a boombox, but that is how you begin. And using the pen tool, gradient tool, shape tools, circles, squares, and adjusting everything. And you can name everything in the layer so you don't get lost of what is what. And that is how you create and get started with your logo.